What's up, everybody? Welcome to a Friday edition of The Squeeze. I am Tyler Conium. I feel like I say this every week, but it's Friday again already. This week, a little bit weird, obviously, with the All-Star break, the Home Run Derby, the All-Star game, so not a lot going on at all yesterday. We just had one bet yesterday. It was the Hamilton Tiger Cats to win by 1. That line moved drastically, man. So we bet it at -1 for -110. It closed at +1 for -110. So you could have got 2 points there depending on when you bet. But the Tiger Cats won that game 37-29. We're up almost 8 units in CFL football, 14-6 on the season. I do have another CFL bet for you today as we head into the weekend. Just a quick programming note. My wife's away this weekend, so it's just me and my daughter. So the videos will be still coming out, but they might just be coming out a little bit later on in the morning, depending on the nap time and all that, because I don't have, the ability to just sit here and do this while she's upstairs by herself for half an hour. So videos might be a bit late, but if you're in the Discord, all this stuff will still be in there as well. And before we get to today's picks, use the QR code on the side of the screen here, or it's the first link in the description below. That's going to take you to all the recommended books that I use. Sign up, make a minimum deposit, which is usually $20 or $25 or more, but at least that. And you're going to get the best exclusive offers and bonuses that are only going to be available through that link, thanks to my partnership with Betstamp and with those books. Also, I mentioned get in the Discord. I posted all the picks last night. This is where I'm sort of gearing everything as more towards a Discord where we can have some better discussion with what's going on with Twitter and all that. So still all over the place. Still all over the place on social media, but that's going to be the best place to go. Okay, baseball is back. So we're sort of back to our regularly scheduled programming, but I'm going to start with the CFL anyway. It's my hometown Toronto Argonauts. They are in Montreal to face their rivals of the Montreal Alouettes, and the reason that we're 14-6, up almost 8 units in the CFL this year, is that I just don't think the books really know what they're doing. The Toronto Argonauts are the best team in the CFL this season. They're only 5.5-point favorites against the Montreal Alouettes. I don't get it. I get that Montreal's 2-2. Toronto's 3-0. They're just coming off their second bye week already in 5 weeks. They've just extended their coach, Dinwiddie, to a nice contract extension. Look, the Alouettes, they're 2-2. They've beat Ottawa and they beat Hamilton. Before last week, Hamilton hadn't won a game, right? They've lost to Winnipeg 17-3, and they've lost to BC 35-19. So they beat Ottawa's one of the worst teams in the league, aside from Edmonton, and Hamilton wasn't great at all. So they beat those two teams, but then Winnipeg, BC, and Toronto, those are the 3 best teams in the CFL, no doubt about it. They scored 3 points against Winnipeg, lost by 14. They scored 19 points against BC, but they lost by 16. They have not played well against the better teams. You're getting the Argos. Yeah, it's a road game, but, BMO Field's never that packed anyway. I think the Argos are going to be used to this. Montreal is on pace to give up 99 sacks this season, which would be the second most in the over 100-year history of the Canadian Football League. Argos, obviously, with a dominant defense. They've also scored 120 points over their 3 games this season. There's absolutely nothing that Montreal's defense has done to make us think that could be any different. Cody Fajardo, he's kind of an out-of-pocket quarterback. Maybe that's contributing to the 99 sacks. That's not going to fool Toronto. The Toronto Argonauts are just a much, much better football team. They're arguably the best team in the entire CFL this year. I do not see a letdown, especially coming off a contract extension, especially coming out of a bye week. They've been preparing for this. Give me the Toronto Argonauts -5.5 for -115 at FanDuel. Crazy line. All right, as I mentioned, Major League Baseball is back, and we are going to head to Baltimore, where we've got the Miami Marlins and the Baltimore Orioles, and I'm going over here. The total is 8.5, and it's essentially even money. This is also at FanDuel. It's -106. The pitching matchup is interesting in that it's Sandy Alcantara and it's Dean Kramer. Kramer, though, you'd think, if this was last season, it might be a little bit of a different story. Kramer is 9-4, but he's got an ERA of 4.78. And Sandy Alcantara, he's not the Sandy Alcantara of years past. He's 3-7, and he's got an ERA of 4.72. In the last, Miami is 7-2 to the over in their last 9 games. Baltimore 5-3 to the over in their last 8. When you look at Sandy Alcantara's last 5 starts, he's had a push at 7, but then he went over 8.5, over 9.5, over 6.5, and over 8. So he's 4-0-1 to the over in his last 5 starts. And when you look at Dean Kramer, he had a push last time. That was 9, but previous to that, over 8.5, over 9, over 8.5, over 9. Also 4-0-1 to the over in his last 5 starts. And as I mentioned, the push was 9. Now, he only gave up 1 earned run his last time out. That was against the Yankees. But previous to that, against Minnesota, he went 3 innings. He gave up 7. He went 7 innings against Seattle. He gave up 3. Against the Chicago White Sox, he gave up 1, and then against Toronto, he gave up 4. Alcantara has given up 1 earned run his last time out against Philly, but before that against Atlanta, he gave up 4. Pitched well against Boston, but he gave up 5 to Toronto and 5 to Miami. When he's pitching against good teams, which the Baltimore Orioles are, he is giving up runs, and I just think even when you factor in the bullpen, Miami's got a bullpen ERA of 4.5. Baltimore's bullpen is over 4 as well. So I think this is a good spot coming out of the All-Star break. I think you're going to see some runs scored here. Guys have had time off. Is that going to affect the pitchers or the batters? That remains to be seen. But I think based on the way these two teams are trending, I'll take the Miami Marlins and the Baltimore Orioles over 8.5 for -106 at FanDuel. And our last bet of the day, we head over to Atlanta. You've got the 38-54 Chicago White Sox facing the best team in Major League Baseball, the 60-29 Atlanta Braves. And I'm taking the Atlanta Braves on the run line here. This is -120 at Betway. This is why you want to be on a place like BetStamp and why you want to line shop and why you want to be on different books. Because when you look at the run line bet, just as an example here, this bet, which is -120 at Betway, I've locked it in. It's -135 at DraftKings. It's -140 at Caesars. It's -138 at FanDuel. You got to line shop because the difference between -120 and -140, at -140, I don't make this bet. It's a crazy bet, -140 on the run line. But at -120, it makes sense. You've got the pitching matchup today of Michael Kopech going up against Charlie Morton for Atlanta. And this is a tale of two trends. Charlie Morton, his last 4 starts, all 4 of them are wins. He gave up 1 earned run to Tampa Bay. He shut out Miami. He gave up 3 to Cincinnati, and he gave up 3 to Colorado. Now, when you look at Kopech, his last 4 starts, all losses. He gave up 2 to the Angels, 3 to the Rangers, only 1 against Seattle. But he's very rarely even getting past the 5th or 6th inning. And when you look at the last head-to-head matchups, Atlanta is 6-4 the last 10 times that they have played. And you have a 5-3 win for Atlanta. They've won 4 straight, all on the run line. They've won 5-3, 11-5, 10-7, 2-0. Going back to any time they win, 11-8, 6-4. So the last 7 times Atlanta has won, it has all been on the run line. Atlanta is just coming off a 3-game series that they took 2 of 3 against the Tampa Rays. They took 2 of 3 to Cleveland against that before sweeping Miami. And they've won 6-1, 2-1. That's not on the run line. 8-1, 4-2, 6-3, 7-0, 16-4, 3-0. When they win, they are winning on the run line. And when Chicago loses, it's typically the same way. They've lost 3-0, 6-2, 7-4. So Atlanta, I just think we're at the point of this season. Always when you come out of the All-Star break in these mid-season games, it's go time now, right? So everyone in Atlanta knows we're 60-29. The World Series is the goal. You know, everybody's had their time off. It's time to get real serious now. And I think that the serious teams start doing that. So I'll take the Atlanta Braves on the run line for -120 at Betway. So once again, use that QR code or the link in the description to get onto FanDuel, get onto Betway, make a minimum deposit. Not only will you get these odds, but you're going to get the best exclusive bonuses and offers. Also, hop in that Discord and let's talk about all kinds of sports throughout today and interact. So my 3 picks for today, I've got the Toronto Argonauts -5.5. That's -115 at FanDuel. I've got the Orioles and the Marlins to go over 8.5 for -106 at FanDuel. And I'm taking the Atlanta Braves on the run line for -120 at Betway. As always, drop a comment if you're fading or following. You can follow me across all my social media channels linked in the description, and your audio is on Apple and on Spotify. Let's have a great Friday, and let's talk sports.